answer those questions. But there are some people here tonight who really represent those values and have put those values into action. John Walsh, the chairman of our party, led us, and because of what he did last fall, because of what John did, those of you who went on the college invasion or know about the college invasion weekend in Plymouth, those of you who went door knocking with John, and all of us did that. That's why we won. That's why Suzanne Bump won. That's why I won. That's why Dan Wolfe won. That's why Bill Keating won. John Walsh, we are deeply grateful to you and to everybody in this room for all the work that we did together. And speaking of values, there is one person here who I always look to as my mentor when it comes to standing for the values of the Democratic Party. And that's Thelma Goldstein. Thelma, stand up. And because Thelma Goldstein voted for Franklin Roosevelt in 1940, it's important that we recall what Franklin Roosevelt said just 3 years earlier in his second inaugural address. And you all know those words. He said, "The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much, but whether we provide enough for those who have too little. Too few jobs, too little education, too little health care, too little hope, and too little dignity." The Cape and Island Democrats are about coming together to give dignity, hope, opportunity to every person without exception. That's who we are. That's what we're all about. That's why we're here tonight. And we've honored Mary Pat Flynn and we've honored Elaine tonight. And I'm here to tell you a little bit about my dear friend, our dear friend, Etta Goodstein. And I'm going to tell you some things you probably don't know about Etta. Etta was born in Chicago in 1952. Her dad was a social worker. Her mother was a teacher, both graduates of Clark University in Worcester. She moved to Worcester when she was 5 or 6 years old. Etta's small business genes inevitably come from her grandmother, Helen Freeman, who started the first high-end dress shop in Worcester. My guess is if Kate Middleton went to Worcester and needed a frock, she probably would have shopped at the Freeman shop. That's how good the clothes were, and that's the reputation. And her grandfather owned Freeman's Bakery. So from a very young age, genetically, she came from a small business background. Etta's namesake was her great-grandmother, Etta Buna Cohen, who emigrated from Poland, married, had kids, and later in her life went to Palestine and was one of those people who helped create the State of Israel. Etta Cohen, Etta's great-grandmother. As most of you know, Etta was a vehement and vocal anti-war activist. She participated in the Vietnam moratorium. She participated in demonstrations. She was the high school coordinator of the Students for a Democratic Society. She even participated in shutting down schools in Worcester and in the surrounding communities over the war, to the point where her stepfather, whom she adored, said to her, "Etta," at a certain point, about 18 years old, "Etta, I think you should find another community. The community of Worcester is not big enough for you. Move somewhere else." And she went to Cambridge, right? In 1970, at the age of 18. Etta started her first business there, wholesaling her own silversmith. She moved to Lynn. She lived in 2 communes, and after a 14-foot snow winter, a New England winter, she finally saw the light and moved to Cape Cod in 1972. Started her business in 73, the grand opening in 76, and she's been doing it ever since. And if you look around this room, raise your hand, anybody who happens perhaps to be wearing at least one piece of Etta Goodstein's jewelry tonight. Raise your hand.
All right.
There you go. It's beautiful jewelry, and if you happen by, stop at Jewelry by Etta, because Etta's back. She's had her surgery. She's back. She's optimistic. This is going to be a good summer for her. Go to her store. Bring some business.
Yeah. Woo! Woo!
So there was a moment in time when Gary Studs got himself into some difficulty, and he was being criticized roundly. Etta said, "This is wrong. This